in colder water, and I know the water's warming up just about everywhere, we're still having some really cold nights, but in colder water, what is the really proper way to retrieve a jig, to fish it? How are you fishing it? Good morning, guys and girls. Good morning, April 14. 2 Corinthians 4:18. For the things which are seen are temporary, but the things which are not seen are eternal. I'm reading out of our Catch a Better Life book. If you want to get a hold of this book, go to jimmyhouston.com. It's also in all the Bass Pro and Cabela's stores. It's in Books A Million. It's in Barnes & Nobles. It's on Amazon. You can get it about anywhere. If you want it personalized and autographed, you can go to jimmyhouston.com and do that. Be sure and tell them that you want it personalized and to whom, and that you want it signed, and we'll be happy to do that for you. April 14, 2 Corinthians 4:18, things which are seen are temporary, things which are not seen, they are eternal. Here's what I wrote about that. Some of the best spots to catch fish are places where we caught them before. Everybody knows that. Some of the worst spots to catch fish are the places where we caught them before. What? You might not have thought about that. Actually, it's pretty simple. Most spots will produce fish only under certain temporary conditions. Under certain temporary conditions. The right weather, a certain water level, or a certain water temperature. Maybe just a single time of the year. A few places, however, will hold fish no matter what. These are those honey holes that we treasure, You know what I learned right here on the Eagle when we lost this lake back in 2015? I was actually telling my buddy Charlie Evans that just the other day, professional fisherman Charlie Evans, and he's fished this lake back before we lost it, and now he's fished it after we've lost it also. And I told him the amazing thing when we didn't have water in it, when I got to drive around out there on a mule and got to drive a truck out there around, as a matter of fact. I found some of the honey holes that just seemed like to produce anytime you went in there. They were mostly ditches that ran into a creek channel. And so I told Charlie, so no matter where you are, keep that in mind. And when you can find that, and sometimes these ditches might only be 6 or 8 or 10 inches deep, or a foot or two deep. They might only be 2 or 3 foot wide. They're just a little drain or a ditch that runs into a creek channel. This verse about temporary things, I believe, is telling us how we see or how we think here on earth is not the same way that God is looking at things. What do I mean by that? We see ourselves broke. We see ourselves poor, maybe. God says we have all we need. We see ourselves broke. We see ourselves poor. God says you got all you need. We see ourselves unattractive. God says we're beautiful. We see ourselves as weak. We see ourselves as powerless. God says we are mighty heroes. Jimmy, you're a mighty hero. God says we are mighty heroes. Bill, you're a mighty hero. And I'm telling you, God sees us differently than we see ourselves. God thinks about us differently than we think about. Today, let's not be too concerned about what we see, but focus on what God says we are. How do we know what God says we are? What's right in His Word? It's right in His Word. What God thinks about us, what God says. And you know, He's got us right in the palm of His hand. And He says that we're talented. He says we're successful. He says we have all we need. He says we're going to be healthy. He says we are healthy. Here's our tip for today. In colder water, drag a jig more than hop it. You see what I'm talking about here? Just drag it. Throw her out there, let her go all the way to the bottom. Normally, when I'm doing this in that cold water, I'm fishing 15, 20, 25 foot deep. Throw that bait out there, let it go all the way to the bottom, and simply drag it. Move it, stop. Drag it on the bottom instead of picking up, letting it fall. Picking up, letting it fall. I mean, mostly we hop a jig when we're fishing it. Colder the water, you want to drag it more, and you'll have a lot of success doing that. Guys and girls, go out there and have you a big one today. Get your own copy of Catch a Better Life. Subscribe to the Catch of the Day YouTube channel. It is absolutely the most important channel on YouTube. Only about 20,000 people there, but they're some of the best people in the world. So if you are some of those 20,000, share this with as many friends as you want, friends that you want them to become better people, just like you are becoming better people through a simple scripture verse every single day. Guys and girls, today is going to be a great day in God. Go out there and make it a great one. Be joyful, have a great time, and remember, you sure do love me.